Alright, so we're gonna give the finishing touches to our blog today, and that's gonna include some different things. First, we're going to improve our database, and that's an auto-increment functionality to the ID. Let's see how we can do that, and what does that even mean. First, so far we have been adding the IDs to the posts manually, which means we have to enter the number, and it is hard to keep track of the IDs we have used or not. It can also cause problems, because if you try to add a post with an ID that already exists, this is going to cause an error. You won't save the post. So let's see how we can do that. We're going to go to your pt1. Okay, so this is your blog here. In posts, you come here to indexes, and you're going to go here, where you should have muda or change or edit, and you need to click this box here where you have AI. This stands for auto increment. Click it, save, guarda, whatever language you have there, and the database part is done. Let's see what we need to do next. So we need to go back to our post for PHP and remove both the label and inputs related to post ID. So we go here. In my case, they're all together inside a paragraph, which makes it even easier. So I just select, delete, and save. Okay, another step done. Now, we need to go to postmanager.php and 3 steps. We remove the variable that received the ID via post. We remove the bind param line, and in the PDO statement we are going to remove the parameter and add the keyword default. So let's do these 3 things. So in post manager, so in post save my function, I delete this first line here. Okay, so just showing is where I get post ID. Remember, post ID doesn't exist anymore. The same thing down here. I remove this bind param, and instead of value ID, I get value default. Good. So post manager is done. So time to test. If everything is ready, it should be working. Let's check it. So I already have here post. So it's called another post. I have my text here. I send it, and I have an error. In Post Manager, I probably forgot ID somewhere. Let's check it. Line 21. Oh, I know what happened. So I loaded the wrong file. Back here. Good. Test. Testing the test. And apparently it worked. Let's go back to our admin. And yes, our post is here. Alright, let's see our next step now. So now we are going to start the editing for posts. And to do that, we first need to show what we already have from a post inside the post.php form. So now we have to go back, first go back to admin.php, and we're going to check the link for edit. Okay, so edit must be pointing to post.php, and it needs to have post ID as a get variable, as we did for the delete link. Let's see that. If you remember, the last time we had basically copied the link from delete to edit, but we made a mistake here because it was pointing to post manager. No, edit needs to point to post because it's going to show the form where you can edit your post before sending to post manager. Okay? So we have it here, post.php. I have it as mode edit, and the ID as row ID, just as we had for delete. Okay, let's save that, and this part is done. Okay, 2.5, we have something really cool here. So I have this file already. Let me find out how I saved it. Okay, after some research, I could find that I had saved it as PHP open close. So what is cool about this little thing here? So when you open it, it tells you to add some get variable, so ID1 or ID2. Let's see what happens. Okay. So when I get here, and I get variable here, it shows something different for each one. But so what? I mean, how is this even happening? Because this is easy, we could be just echoing everything. But the cool thing is that here I'm not using PHP echoes. Instead, take a look. I'm opening PHP and starting if inside. So right after I start the if with the curly braces, I close PHP and add pure HTML. So this is inside my if. But of course, if I leave it just like this, I have an error. So I have to reopen PHP, add the curly braces that are closing that if block, and I can add an else if. Okay, and again, inside the else if, I close PHP, use pure HTML. Okay, and why do I do that? Because it's a lot. Here I'm just using one line, but in what you're going to be doing after, you're gonna have a whole form to echo. And echoing the whole form, it's really a lot of work. This way it's easier. So you could just get your if and put your your HTML form, and close your if later. Something very important you cannot forget is that in the end, you will probably have to do something like this. So you open and PHP block, open and close it, just to have the last curly braces to close your if. If you don't do that, you're gonna have an error when you load the page. Okay? So let's see how we are going to be applying this in practice. So we're going to go back to post.php, and we are going to do this. So we're going to have two different versions of the same form. One of them is going to be what we have now. So the version that doesn't receive an ID via get. That means that where get ID is not set. This is what we have now. The other version is going to do all this work here. Okay, but first let's create two versions and see how it works. Going back to post. And inside the body, first let me get a big copy and paste here. So I'm copying the whole form. I'm opening PHP. And I start an if. I'm leaving the first one as it is. So I'm saying if it's not, okay? So remember that the exclamation mark means not. So if it's not set, get ID. And remember to delete this one here. So when you finish typing this, it's going to show as it's wrong, because I'm not closing this. But don't worry, we're going to close this later. So if it's not set, get ID, you show our traditional form. So let's open another PHP block. So I'm closing the if, and you can see we have no more warnings here of mistakes, of errors. And I do an else block. Again, I delete this, and I'm pasting the whole form here. And then I open and close PHP just to close my else block. And you can save it. Okay, let's test and see if this is working. So what should happen now? I'm going to add here to the second version where you have the ID. Let's get an H1 that just says I'm working. If this really works, what's going to happen is when I load post directly, it's going to show the normal form. If you're going, if you load post from the admin through the edit link, it's going to show this header here. Let's test it. I'm curious. So let's go to post first, and our form is here. Perfect. That's a good sign. Now let's try it from admin. So when I click edit, it goes to the post PHP, and it shows that it's working. Alright, very good. So now we can move on to step 3. So in step 3, it's a little bit longer, so I'm leaving this for our next video, cutting this right now.